Hey, welcome to the Star Goddess podcast here on the Crash and AJ blog at 98rock.com, where we meet up each Monday. Kind of, it's a lot more relaxed, I think, right? When you do the podcast, we just all we got to do is talk about the podcast.
Yeah, a lot more expansion. We can dive deeper on not only everybody's different individual signs, but different questions, all sorts of stuff. And we had some conversation we were just talking about off the mic before hopping on this thing, bringing up points about everything with the coronavirus. What were you just saying, Janet?
I was talking about that Jupiter, the planet of expansion, goes into Aquarius like the second week in December. And back in March, when we first talked about the coronavirus, what was going to happen, when it was going to happen, I remember saying that I thought the second week in December is when we would have a vaccine because Jupiter goes into Aquarius. When Jupiter went into Aquarius in the early 1990s is when we came up with a treatment for HIV.
What?
Really?
That's
when
crazy
Saturn was
how
in
those
Aquarius,
dates line up like that.
Yes. After it being a death sentence for so long, in the early 1990s, Saturn was in Aquarius, and Saturn, of course, is also going into Aquarius along with Jupiter. So that's why I made that prediction. And I really don't think it's that, the Democrats were holding this vaccine till the day after the election just, to try and tank Trump, because I don't think that's the case. I think that Jupiter going into Aquarius and Saturn going into Aquarius says, it's time for that stuff. And as a result, getting everything back on track. So right now, and I think that we can believe it, because Mercury, the planet of communication, has just goes into Scorpio tomorrow, which is where it retrograded back in October. So I'm cautiously optimistic about all of that.
I think it's just amazing because I know throughout 2020, you've been able to connect 2020's date and the craziness that's happened in 2020 to like these historical dates where everything just, is it the 20 thing? Is it the end of the decade thing? Is that
It's just the astrology thing. It's just, and that's really what I would say about, people ask me questions about astrology. And what we really sell is timing, the when. Astrology really is a series of adjectives that describes what the different energies are. Instead of saying, it vibrates at 88.2 kilohertz, we say that that's an Aries or this is a Taurus. So, and the thing is that the reason astrology works is it's predictable. The planets move at a predictable rate of speed. See this enormous book? We've seen your book. It's my ephemeris.
It's the picture of the book. It's on our profile picture for the podcast. You see the book right there. Yeah.
It's this huge book, and God bless pointy-headed astronomers, because they're the ones that figured it out at the Jet Propulsion Lab, that they move at a predictable rate of speed. So if a planet moves at a predictable rate of speed, it's going to be there on Tuesday. And you know what happened the last time it was there? I don't think it takes a real genius to go, okay, this is what's likely to happen. Mercury was retrograde the day of the election, just like it was in 2000. Same energy.
Wow.
Same type of thing where, we're not sure, we don't know. And that wasn't the case in 2016 when we kind of knew right away, So to me, it's just, and the operative thing is those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. So if you know what happened the last time it was there, you go, okay, I'm not going to do that again, or I am going to do that again. I'm going to capitalize on that. That to me is the beauty of astrology.
Right.
And just noticing that kind of stuff. So I'm excited about it. So we have Mercury, the planet of communication, finally going back into Scorpio, where it retrograded. And it went retrograde. It first went into Scorpio in the very end of September, and then it retrograded like the middle of October. So it just went all the way back through Scorpio, got back into a Libra, and now tomorrow it goes back into Scorpio. So all the things that we've been sort of having on hold, not sure what was going to happen, not knowing what to do, go back to school, open school, all those questions all now get resolved because you'll have enough information to go forward with. And I'm excited about that just in general. I'm just glad the election's over and that we can start to go forward again. And that's what Mercury going direct kind of tells me in Scorpio. So it's important to know where that's going to happen.
Is that a 12-year? He says a 12-year cycle?
Jupiter is a 12-year cycle.
Yeah.
Jupiter is a 12-year cycle. Saturn's a 29-year cycle.
Wow.
Almost 30 years, which is the early 1990s when the AIDS, the cocktail for and again, there's no vaccine for AIDS, but at least there's a definitive treatment.
That's crazy.
This time, I think it's going to be a vaccine along with a definitive treatment, which turns out to be aspirin. Wash your hands, wear a mask, and take aspirin. Yeah, because of the blood clotting thing. Yeah, I know. It's like, really, that's all it takes? Yeah, I'd love to tell you it's rocket science. But
jeez.
So time to go forward with that stuff, and it's important to know where, because each one of us has Scorpio in a different place in our charts. And wherever that Scorpio energy is, where you will get the straight skinny on something, you'll finally be able to straighten things out or get a straight answer or at least have enough information to make an informed decision, which is all we really want. We don't really want people making decisions for us. We just want to have enough information so we're confident that the decision we're making is the right one for us. So for Scorpios like Joe Biden, boy, it's time to, start talking. Mercury is in his sign. He has really held back quite a bit over the last couple of years, or at least for the last couple of months or so. And now you'll hear exactly what Joe Biden thinks with Scorpios everywhere, what they think, what they want, putting their interests first. And they don't really care if it's a scorched earth policy. Scorpio goes, okay, I can live with that.
I'd like to see Biden probably maybe wearing like a little bit more kind of casual it up. Maybe every day is casual day in the White House. To come to those press conferences with like a Hawaiian shirt on or something like that.
Yeah,
you know what? People are thinking about maybe changing things up moving forward with the age of Zooms over the last 7, 8, 9 months, however long it's been. So who's to say it can't happen now?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's a great thing, Mercury going direct, and I'm glad for Scorpios anyway to find their voice. Because that's the thing, and you'll really literally have to rip their fingernails out to get them to stop talking. So that's good for Scorpios.
Let me ask you this: so if there, everybody adds something to the White House, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, with Joe Biden's personality as a Scorpio, and Kamala Harris is I don't know what
Libra. She's a Libra.
Is there like a natural trend of what they would add to the White House? I mean, you got people adding libraries, you got people adding this.
What Joe Biden brings to the White House as a Scorpio is an in-depth knowledge of how all that stuff works.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. Is that because he's been in this, he's been in Congress for like 47 years. He was in the White House personally for 8 years. He sort of knows what's going on. He's got the routine. He's got the drill. It's not like something new the way it was for Trump. But what Biden brings is Kamala Harris, and that's going to be our first female president of the United States. She's a Libra, and we love Libras. I love her. She's got a moon in Aries, which means she's not afraid of anything, even stuff she should be afraid of. She's not.
Go ahead.
No, and a Gemini rising. So she's capable of multitasking very, very well and being very articulate. That's what he brings. He literally brought a pit bull to the party.
Well, speaking of dogs, and I know that's a different context right there, but in actuality, Joe Biden's actually bringing a couple of dogs to the White House. We haven't had them in 4 years, but this is the first rescue dog to be ever, the first rescue dog ever to be at the White House.
Wow.
How awesome is that?
That is cool.
I think that says a lot.
I
think that says a lot about Joe Biden. And I personally don't trust a man that's never had a dog.
Yeah, it's.
I
wouldn't say. I would. There's some people that don't have pets, and you wonder why. But
I don't trust them.
I'm one person that when you got a pet, you kind of there's something about you've had pets. There's something about that personality trait that really is different than people that don't have pets. To backtrack a little bit, I was hoping maybe a hot tub or something like that. To be honest with you, but Clinton would have probably brought that one, right? I mean,
they'll probably just uncover it. Yeah.
There's going to be some people unhappy with your comment there, correct?
And that's fine. But let's have a press conference from while playing cornhole or something like that. Let's loosen it up over there at the White House.
Let's have a kegerator, right?
Yeah, kegerator. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
The White House bar.
All right, where were we anyway?
Yeah. We were at Scorpio. Now we're going to get into Sagittarius, which is Biden's rising sign. I love Sagittarians. Sagittarians, they have to be, because Mercury is in Scorpio behind their sign, they have to be careful not to promise more than they can possibly deliver. And that's good advice for anybody, Sagittarian, vice, president or not. Only because with Mercury behind your sign, people are going to hold you to what it is that you said. So Sagittarians everywhere, and I have to laugh because your rising sign is Sagittarius, and if they're smart, they'll definitely duck a whole bunch of questions if they can, because they really don't have enough information yet to answer those questions. They won't until after the 2nd of December when Mercury enters their sign, so they're better off right now. Sagittarians everywhere saying, I will take that under advisement, and then I will think about it, and thank you for presenting that to me, and kind of stall. I'm not a big fan of procrastinating, but Sagittarians should procrastinate. about answering any kind of question until Mercury gets into their sign in December.
Something about when
How's that
people
for a fan?
ask me questions, and I've learned a lesson on this. Sometimes somebody will ask me a question when I'm kind of busy and preoccupied, and I'll answer the question, and sometimes you don't even know what you said. I personally don't.
Yeah, right.
And,
Exactly.
And they'll say, "You said this," and I was like, "Oh, damn! Did I say that?" And yeah.
Was I paying attention? Yeah, was I paying attention when you asked me that, or did I just look like I was? Yeah.
Yeah, but they'll hold you to those words. So I've been learning not to do any whatnot talk whenever I'm like really super busy with anything, so that I don't have to eat those words every little later on.
Yes, and if you're going to eat them, make sure they're tasty.
Exactly.
For Capricorn, this energy is great energy for Capricorn. It's in their 11th house of their friends, their hopes, their wishes, goals, and objectives. And Capricorns everywhere are going to be rallying their friends to help them out, to help them get out of a jam, and particularly their powerful female friends. And I have to laugh because Don Trump Jr. is a Capricorn, and I bet he's trying to call his girlfriend Kimberly right now, and she's not answering the phone.
See,
so for Capricorns everywhere.
He would have been like probably the next term they would have had that hot tub in the White House, and it would probably been his hot tub, right? I'm almost certain of that.
Who's to say there isn't one there now, realistically, right?
Exactly. Who knows? There might be one. Yeah.
That might have been the big party reveal. Hey,
that would be the big reveal. Yeah. But for Capricorns everywhere, they're trying very hard to put a group agenda forward. But the agenda is really the Capricorns. But they're going to make it seem like, oh, the group, this is what, you want to do, and I will help you do that, when the truth is the Capricorns want the group, their powerful friends and colleagues, to help the Capricorn get what the Capricorn wants. And the Capricorn wants the new starts that they created the first 3 or 4 months of this year to continue. And so that's what Capricorns are working on everywhere, is getting their friends to help the Capricorn achieve their hope, wish, goal, objectives. So I think that's a worthy thing for them to do.
Okay, I'm trying to
for Aquarians, for Aquarians, this is very challenging energy. I think out of all the signs, Aquarius have the hardest time with this energy because it is in their 10th house of career and public standing and professional interest. It also squares their sign, so whatever it is they are likely to say, even if they're high-minded about it, it's not likely to be taken right, or it's likely to be challenged. Aquarians everywhere are going to have their ideas, their concepts, their professional stuff challenged. And the best thing they can do is kind of bide their time, because Jupiter gets into their sign the 3rd week in December, and then they'll be able to go forward with that. So the hard thing is that, and the other thing Aquarians need to realize, that a lot of people, and this is all professional attacks, this is not personal, this is all professional stuff, is the Aquarian needs to make sure that the attack is coming to them and not the person above them. And to not step in front of any adversity to save your boss, because you may not need to do that. They may not be able to be saved, and there's no reason that the Aquarian should go down with it. And if the Aquarian's smart, they'll stay out of the way, let whatever happened to their boss happen, and then take their job in December. So
I'm trying to think of the Aquarians in my life that come to mind right now. Do we work with any Aquarians, AJ?
No, we like
our
Virgos.
98 Rock Circle.
Nope.
No.
Sorry,
We've got
we like
Virgos.
No.
Yeah,
A lot of
Leos and
Virgos.
Taurus. Yeah.
Virgos and Leos, No, sorry, Aquarians, we don't like you, so good luck with that. For Pisces, this is great energy for Pisces. This is in their 9th house of the law, legal matters, educational matters, important matters. Stuff that's been pending, that's really been weighing on the Pisces, that's been pending for the last 2 months or so, starts to go forward for them, and it's a very positive outcome. And I can't always say that for Pisces. A lot of times they suffer more than any other sign, but with Mercury trining their sign, their voice gets heard, their case gets made, their plea gets answered, that kind of a thing. Educational matters go well for them. Travel goes well for them. Contracts, negotiations, very, very favorable time for Pisces to move their particular agenda forward, one way or the other. And again, I'm a big fan of, if you have to, beg for mercy, do it in person. I have no trouble dropping on my knees going, I am so sorry, I need your help. It's really hard for somebody to say, no, I'm not going to do that. So for Pisces, and they should also, if they're considering going to school, they need to make that decision and go forward with that, because that's the right thing for them to do.
Back to the apologies part. Text apologies. Is it worth anything to you guys? Text apologies.
Better in person.
Better in person. Right?
I guess it depends on the situation. It definitely does. If it's something, maybe minor, minuscule, or I get it. But
a good apology you got to do face to face, right?
Totally.
It depends on what the offense was.
Yeah.
If you said something stupid, or misconstrued something. I once got an apology from my brother that was 3 pages worth of the words mea culpa.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You know, through email. And I kept scrolling through the email, waiting to get to the end. It was mea culpa, mea culpa. And he was genuinely sorry over the dispute we had. So, but if it was, I'm sorry I was flirting with your sister, that's something that, you need to do in person and look contritely. So
unless you want the middle finger emoji coming back your way. Maybe that's a good one for the toilet plunger, right?
Yes.
And then they do have the screenshot of the text, too, which you don't want it all on that one.
Yeah, I know. And they will print it out and send it to all their friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, depends on the circumstance. For Aries, right, we just did Pisces. Yes, okay. For Aries, this is, what about the money? This is a follow the money kind of thing. This is a Mercury in the 8th house. The 8th house is the house of sex, death, regeneration, other people's resources. And this is it's a good time for a state of the finance check. It's a good time for the state of the soul check. It's a good time to ask deep probing questions that you have not really gotten the answers to over the last couple of months or so. And you may have been, and Aries everywhere have been asking these questions. And they haven't really gotten an answer, and they've kind of been pushed off a little bit with that answer. But with Mercury in the 8th house, they're not going to back down. They're kind of going to stand there until you answer their question. And it's important for them to know that because it's something that they're afraid of, and they really shouldn't be afraid of it, but they are. And something new comes to light that changes that. There's some information that somehow diffuses whatever that fear was or whatever that threat was. So that's really good for Aries. And anything that was not quite right will be exposed. So Aries have to be careful not to be people who live in glass houses.
Oh, boy.
Throwing bricks at people. That's the only challenge with that. So, and I know you know a couple of Aries, so.
I do.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all over the place, so important to know that. For Tauruses, this energy is in their 7th house of partners, intimate one-to-one relationships. And this is, Tauruses everywhere are going to sit down and have like a come to Jesus meeting with the people that they are both intimate with and that they are both in partnerships with.
Yeah.
And they're literally going to sit down and go, okay, look, we've been real confused about this since the end of September. I need to know one way or the other. I don't even care what the answer is, but one way or the other, I need to have a definitive, this is what we're doing, this is where we're at. Either you're with me or you're against me. It's that kind of energy because Scorpio is either black or white. We're Libra, there's all kind of shades of gray with Scorpio. It's like black or white, yes or no.
Yeah.
That kind of energy. And they need that answer. They have the right to have that answer. So it's time for pointed questions asked by Tauruses who are not going to back down.
Oh, man.
That's the kind of thing they'll stand in front of they'll kind of stand in front of your desk and ask you something, and you'll kind of ignore them and brush them up, and 5 minutes later you look up, they're still standing there saying, I'm not leaving until I get this answer. That's the kind of thing. So, but they need to know. So
Hell yeah.
And they're at the point where they don't even care what the answer is. They just need to know, so they need to know how to think.
So
because you can't change what is, you can only change how you think about something.
So let me get this straight. So the Taurus is going to have people coming to the Taurus and saying I need answers for this. That's basically what's happening.
Yeah. Well, no, the Taurus. Yes.
Taurus going.
Yes. The Tauruses are going to be initiating the questions of the people that they're involved with partnerships with.
Yeah.
And then the people that are involved. What?
I was just saying, it's funny you mentioned that because it's like sometimes, when you're talking about these things, how you can feel the different energy or mood shifts and things coming and like how things can just come to a head. And then it's like, how things align with my life. And it's, it's wild when you say that. And then it's just all of a sudden, this is the week. And it's like, you don't say. Things were just coming in motion. So, yeah, it's pretty wild.
You mentioned that. There are more than once where I've sat down and just went, what do mere mortals do? I mean, I'm an astrologer. Yeah. I have this big book. And I've been doing it for a long time. I have a general idea of what I can expect. Mm-hmm. My sister's a psychic. And I wonder, what do people do that don't have any of this? Where stuff just walks up and gobsmacks them or blindsides and, where they don't have an idea. Before I learned about Mercury retrograde, learning not to schedule surgery during that time, which you get a bad outcome. What do people do that don't have this? Because every now and then even I sit there and go, what the hell is going on? I do. That takes me to people who are saying, what the hell is going on? That takes me to Geminis. And Geminis, Mercury has gone back into their 6th house of health, work, and responsibilities. And for Geminis everywhere, issues regarding their job, where it is, not the job that they do, but where it is they do their job, where it is they do their work. have come into question, and also health matters. And both of those things that the Gemini thought was resolved back in September, the end of September, beginning of October, find out that no, it's not resolved, and it comes back to say, okay, now for sure we got to deal with this. And I look at that and go, man, I'm glad I'm not a Gemini.
And it's
holy smokes!
It's always challenging stuff, or is it ever good stuff, or what's?
Nope, never good stuff. Nope, it's always challenging stuff because it's called an inconjunct. That energy is 150 degrees away from the sign of Gemini. And where an opposition is where you just butt heads with people. An inconjunct is you're not quite sure. It's hard for you to understand, and especially because it comes after a time of things going really well. That's what I mean about being blindsided by, where you just didn't see it coming, that kind of a deal.
Wait a minute. Isn't President Trump a Gemini?
You betcha.
Oh, man.
Rudy Giuliani's a Gemini. Mike Pence is a Gemini. Kanye West is a Gemini. Yeah, a lot of Geminis running around the place. Yeah. And so I'm curious about that too. That's when I looked at this, I thought, I understand the work thing, but what's the health thing? Like, did you really have coronavirus? You're gonna have a relapse now, or that kind of thing.
Jeez.
So interesting. I know, isn't that crazy?
I got a feeling it's gonna get very interesting over the next probably 2 months.
Yeah.
I actually think that all of the divisiveness comes to an end on Friday the 13th, which I didn't even want to mention. Wow. That's the end of the week. It's a Friday the 13th. So I think all of that comes to an end then.
Oh, wow, it is coming up on Friday the 13th. At the time we tape this on Monday, by the way. Yeah, we tape this on Monday, so yeah.
Yeah, coming up on Friday the 13th. It's like great, and to add that to the mix. And I think the 13th is the last day. One of those states that's involved has to report their results.
Oh, wow.
So, I know.
Nice.
And again, that astrology thing just stuns me. And every time I was at the river this week, and I was looking up at the moon and the stars, and it was like, who the first looked up and went, that point of light, that one right there. That one means this, or this one means that. And I always have because I deal with this every day, so I know that it works.
Yeah.
But it still blows my mind when I think, how on earth is that even possible?
Yeah.
How's that even possible?
That's part of the fun of this whole, no matter if you're listening and you've never listened to this podcast before, or you maybe never been introduced to astrology in a kind of layman's term, like Star Goddess brings it to us each Monday. It's just when you when you look up, like you said, the sun's going to be at the same place at the same time. These certain stars are going to be at certain places at the same time. And when you connect the events that happen when they repeat history, it blows me away sometimes.
Blows me away.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to talk about.
Who first figured that out? Blows me away.
Question.
So for Geminis everywhere, the question this week in particular involves work and health matters. Actually, for the next 3 weeks, but starting tomorrow, involves where you do your job and health matters. So at least I'll have an answer, too, one way or the other about that. So
all right.
For Cancers, which is the United States of America, Mercury has gone into Scorpio. It's our fifth house of love affairs, children, sports, amusements, pleasures. It's almost like, I feel like Linda saying to Cancers, come out, it's safe to come out, you can have a good time again. And I had to notice that Saturday night, people dancing in the streets, festivities going on, people laughing, singing, dancing, that kind of thing. So for Cancers everywhere, it's a good time to fall in love. It's a good time to breathe life into the things that it is that you create, both children, physical children, so be careful with that stuff, and children of the mind, ideas that you give birth to that eventually end up taking on a life of their own. And so for Cancers, something that they've been trying to work on to bring to life since the end of September comes to be over the next, and it starts this week, with the coming to be. So to Cancers everywhere, I say, be careful what you create because things can take on a life of their own.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
And wrap it up. Use some birth control.
That too. Yeah, that too. And just because, some of our audience is a little older, don't think that can't happen to you.
Yeah.
Because it can.
This factory's shut down. I can tell you that right now.
So in that case, it would have to be an esoteric child of your mind, which I'm great with too. But the operative thing is, I think, when you say what's going to be the outcome over the next couple of weeks or so, with all of this, I think for Americans everywhere, it's like, God, a sigh of relief. Let's get back and have a good time, and go forward with it. Again, that kind of thing. So for Leos, they need to just take a step back and regroup. For Leos everywhere, Scorpio is not good energy for Leos. It squares their sign. It's a good time for them to sulk and pout at home. And again, I have to laugh because Donald Trump's rising sign is Leo, and haven't seen much of him.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why all the gold. He's a Gemini, but that's why all the gold and the kingship and the, autocracy and all of that stuff is because that Leo rising. So, yeah. But the Mercury is at the nadir of their chart. It is the lowest. It is at the lowest point that it's going to be all year long for Leos everywhere.
I'm so
Leo
lethargic
rising.
right now.
Yeah. Well, see, this is a time, Crash, where you go, oh, yeah, I'm the Sagittarius rising. That doesn't impact me like that. But actually, both of those things do. So the best thing for you is just to kind of be quiet.
Yeah.
Kind of keep your thoughts to yourself about home and find a way. The operative thing is to find a way with this energy to dig deep into yourself and look at your wants and your needs and what you, the individual Leo, needs, to make happen in their life, and then to focus on making that safe and secure for you, whatever it takes to do that, rather than go out into the world. It's a good time to consolidate things and literally not hunker on down, but to find a way to make sure that your home and foundations are solid and they can sustain you. So that's what Leo's everywhere are trying to do.
So I definitely want to get, like I said, the band thing has been since COVID kind of screwed the whole progression of that up, but it's starting to catch up now.
Nice.
But as far as concentrating on things, I just want to take like 3 strokes off my golf game. You give me that and I'll be happy. I'm good.
I could do it when you're putting. Have you decided to lose your dominant eye yet?
Oh, no, you were telling me about the dominant eye. But can we talk about that a little later? Yeah. 'Cause,
Yes.
I mean, if I get 5 strokes off my golf game, that's, if you're talking about
Now you want
focusing
5.
on me, that's what I'm looking at right now. I need 5 strokes taken
Well,
off,
that's how
right?
you do it. Well, I can guarantee you 3 over 18 holes.
Yeah, between the stars and your tutelage, I think we could probably do this, right?
I can do it. If I was there in the studio, I'd take a triangle with my hands.
Fine.
And say, okay, take a triangle with your hands and point it at an object on the wall, like a clock or a painting, something on the wall.
All right, doing it.
Center it with both of your eyes.
Okay.
Close your right eye.
Uh-huh.
And does it move?
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. This is, so I'm, yeah.
So now, keeping your hands in the same place, close your left eye. Does it move?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so. Okay, yeah, so, I get it.
Whichever way it moves, that's your dominant eye.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's the eye you want looking at the ball. So if you're a righty and you're looking down when you're putting, and you look towards the hole, you turn your head to the right, you look towards the hole, and you come back, you're then looking at the golf ball with your right eye, which is not your dominant eye. And you'll miss by like a quarter of an inch. You'll miss the cup on the same side by like a quarter of an inch.
People want to charge me for that. People want to charge me like a lot of money for what you just gave me right there.
I know.
Thank you.
There
you go.
It's
golf lesson for the Star Goddess right there.
Yeah. Also, life lessons too, man.
Life lessons.
Yeah.
Golf lessons.
I'm a softball
threesomes.
coach.
She got you.
I got it all. I'm a softball coach, and I have to make my girls do that.
Yeah, that's a good exercise.
I will literally put a blinder. When I know that they're left eye dominant. I will put a blinder on their right eye, on their batting helmet, so they have to turn their head to see the ball with their left. That's the hitting tip I gave Derek Jeter in 1996 or 1997, was to turn his head that he was mishitting balls. He was getting a piece of it. And
I'm totally
I did it with
that.
him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so I took him out to my car, and I explained to him that he was only using his non-dominant eye to hit the ball. That's how he was only getting a piece of it, and that if he exaggerated turning his head so his left eye was looking down the bat at the ball, he would become one of the best hitters, and he took my advice.
You know what? So, the thing that really pisses me off, he didn't mention you one time when he went to the Hall of Fame.
I know it, that dirtbag. I actually have a picture of this. I actually have a picture of him and me the night I gave him that tip, and a napkin I made him sign.
I think
that says
we should sue Derek Jeter.
That's right.
Derek Jeter.
Right.
And
I actually do know what I'm talking about because my high school softball team, in 2016, 17, and 18, I was the hitting coach. All 3 years we went to the Final Four. We took the bronze medal the first time, the gold medal the second time, and the silver medal the third time because I wasn't on first base.
There you go.
My kids can hit the ball. A lot of things they can't do, but they can hit the ball, and so will you. And putting is where it makes the big difference. Putting is the easiest place to take strokes off.
Can we do like a golf podcast too? I mean,
that's it. That shoots my wad. I can't do anything else on it. I got nothing else for that.
All right, where were we on this? Where are we at?
Okay, we're into Virgo.
Yeah.
This is so funny because Virgo, Mercury is going to Scorpio. Their third house of day-to-day living, instruction, teaching, disseminating information. Here I'm already doing that. So yeah, for Virgos everywhere. Short distance, short duration travel pops up for them, which is a very cool thing. And they learn something very useful about their world over the next three weeks or so. And something that they have been trying to do, like a new structure they're trying to build in their life. They were trying to build in September and October. Well, they finally get to do that, to go forward with it. So, and that's a really cool thing too for them. Cool. So short distance, short duration travel, learn something new. And the pace of their life settles down to something they can manage, a much smoother day-to-day living.
Any kind of travel right now is good for the mind and soul.
Yeah. Everybody, yeah. For Libras, the last sign, and that is Mercury in Scorpio, and that is how much money can I make? Mercury going into the second house of money. Libras have been trying everywhere to get their finances straight, to go ahead and make more money. And this is earned income. This is not like money falling out of the sky on you. This is through the fruits of your own labor, you'll be able to make more money. And again, this is something that they have been trying to do since the end of September. They've been waiting on other things to occur. Those things occur this week, and they get to go ahead to either make more money or invest in more money or and Libras everywhere are very secret about their finances, so they won't even tell you if they've done well financially. That's how it is.
What's the date on the Libras again?
Libra runs from the 22nd of September to about the 22nd of October.
Okay. All right.
And so for Libras everywhere, that it's all about the money, and it's about making more money, and it's them having more control over the money that they make and what they do with it. So that's good news for them. They're looking for economic good news. This is the week to get it. So
all right.
Kind of like that. Yeah. So tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac, stuff you need to know about astrology and stuff you didn't even know you cared about. Just trying to help. Just trying to keep it interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. No doubt about that. All right. We'll meet you back here next Monday at Crash and AJ Blog. It's the Star Goddess Podcast Weekly right here at 98rock.com.